So James Harden, he's at a wedding, right? And here's the traditional bouquet throw. And this is Harden's girlfriend who gets it. And watch his reaction. And, I mean, we've obviously found ourselves a new meme here. That's your old teammate there, Big Perk. What should we read into this moment?
Well, what she was happening is it seemed like he was a bit disturbed right there. I don't know if James Harden got plans to get married anytime soon. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm not a body language expert, but but legs, anything?
Yeah, it looked like to me, if ever there was a time James Harden wanted to go to a step back and create space, it was right there.
I don't know. I mean,
he clearly froze in the moment like he tends to do.
Oh.
But one thing you got to watch for, though, is how is he going to give her a ring?
Yeah, he doesn't have one. So, I mean, those jokes were kind of flying around the meeting all morning long. Not nice. Good for them. Happy young couple. I wish them nothing but love and health and happiness. Okay, that was a stupid thing to say. Let's go on. The next game is called Fill in the Blank. Legs. Jason Tatum in this series has been what?
A cog in the machine. That's really what he's been. Look, he's played his part. He's contributed, but he hasn't been the guy that's been the most dominant offensive player in this series. I know everybody wanted Jason Tatum to have that moment, feels like he has to have that moment in terms of a legacy moment. But what he has been a guy that has just contributed to the extent he's needed to get Boston up 2-0.
Big Perk, fill in the blank. Kyrie in the finals so far has been
horrible. He's been bold, right? Bold. B-O-L, a pain to watch. And look, if the Mavericks got any shot at winning this series or getting back into it, Kyrie Irving is going to have to get back into his bag right now. Right now, Jrue Holiday, Derek White, and the Celtics are playing outstanding defense on him. Right now, the crowd is playing in Kyrie's head. He's feeding into the fans. He have to be better, otherwise they might get swept.
All right, let's go to one more here, and this one takes us away from the finals. Alan, Dan Hurley, as the next coach of the Lakers, would be what?
The right thing to do. Now, is it the right thing for Dan Hurley? That's what he has to decide. Hopefully today we'll find out. But for the Lakers, you got to think about life after LeBron. Yes, he's still with you, and he might be on this team for a year, maybe even two. Who knows? Wouldn't put it past him. He doesn't look like he's slowing down. However, there is going to be a after LeBron, and you need a culture setter. You need a standard bearer. You need a face of the franchise. He's been that in college. Can he be that for the Lakers?
All right, so I'm reading from Woj's stuff over this weekend, because Woj spoke to Dan Hurley personally, that Dan Hurley told Woj the Lakers made a compelling case to him in Los Angeles, but that he loves what he's built with the two-time defending national champions. He's weighing it all now, and his plan is to make a decision on his future Monday. Today is Monday. So, Wendy, what can you tell us? What do we know as we all wait and hear this decision from Dan Hurley?
Well, the Lakers are on edge about this because they've thrown Dan Hurley the bouquet, so to speak, because they've given him presumably the largest coaching contract offer in the history of the franchise. They brought him out to give their vision, and he's been home for several days with no offer. Meanwhile, other candidates that they're interested in are, moving on elsewhere. So James Borrego, who they interviewed about 10 days ago, he's getting momentum in Cleveland. He's expected to interview there early this week as a potential leading candidate developing with the Cavs. And their situation is that they have so prioritized Dan Hurley that they've let other potential candidates, go off the board elsewhere. It took them a while to get Dan Hurley interested enough to seriously engage with them. They got that engagement, and now they've got to hope that they were able to close it.
So you want to play the Draymond? Let's do it. So Draymond Green on his podcast the other day weighed in on this, and I think it's worth hearing in particular because, in case you're not aware, Draymond Green and LeBron James are very close to each other. We see them all the time on social media, traveling together and whatnot. So take that for what it's worth. This was Draymond's take on this yesterday.
There could be a dynamic where JJ, like Bron loves JJ and wants him as the coach. Anthony Davis is a totally different start that may want something else. I don't know this to be facts. I'm just saying, how the dynamics could work. Because for me, when I see Dan Hurley all of a sudden come out of nowhere, like he's their guy, they're reporting, they're flying him out to LA. Like just a day ago, they were zeroing in on JJ Redick. Like, how does that change that fast, right? And I just sit back and I'm like, whoa, maybe this happened, because I do understand the dynamic of stars in the NBA.
Okay, so again, that's interesting because of his relationship to LeBron. It is worth pointing out that when he was sitting in that seat on Thursday, Woj said definitively that the Lakers zeroed in on Dan Hurley as the guy they wanted from the very beginning of this process. It doesn't mean they haven't had time to consider others as well along the way, but that this did not just happen that day. The world found out about it from Woj that day, but that's not necessarily when it began. In fact, Woj said it definitively was not. Having said all of that, you hear the comments there, Big Perk. It certainly does make you wonder, are there, different visions of this thing going forward? What's your take on it this morning, Perk?
Well, Granny, it seemed like it's all over the place, because I thought Rich Paul said about 2 weeks ago that LeBron James don't want anything to do with the Lakers as far as hiring a coach. And then
He did.
Draymond just said that LeBron wants J.J. Redick as the coach, so I'm confused. Maybe they need to huddle up and get that conversation and get those thoughts together. That's number one. But number two, I want to see Dan Hurley get this Laker job. I'm tired of the same suits rotating in those seats in the NBA. We watched it so many times. We watched Frank Vogel go to Phoenix. We watched Budenholzer now go to Phoenix after being fired from Milwaukee. Doc Rivers get fired from Philly. He take over the Bucks job. I want to see new energy and new blood in those top roles. I think he's there for us, the Laker plans for the future. And again, this should not be a LeBron James hire. This should be an Anthony Davis hire and an organizational hire, meaning building for the long term. It's been too many times over the last 4 years that the Lakers have made moves for us coaches and players for the now instead of the future.
Yeah, that's well said. And Wendy, when you were here the other day, you said that was LeBron's message to them as well. Don't hire someone for me, hire someone for the future. Legs, I haven't had a chance to talk to you. What do you make of all this?
Yeah, look, I think for Danny Hurley, I think the question he's probably asking himself over the course of the weekend is, how fulfilling will it be for him to coach in the NBA? Because I think right now, what he's doing is where his passion is. This is the way he's wired. Starting with the recruiting process, bringing guys in, coaching them a certain way, coaching them hard, getting guys to develop, getting guys to run through a wall for you, taking guys now in the transfer portal, maybe from someplace else, and making them fit into your view and your vision of how the game's supposed to be played. A lot of those things are a lot different at the NBA level. His demeanor in the course of games, his demeanor in practices, it's definitely something that's got to be toned back. And I think he's got to be asking himself that. What he has now, what he has built, what he loves to do every day, his passion is to do it at this level. It's a completely different way and a completely different approach. It doesn't mean that he can't enjoy it as much or be as fulfilled by it, but I think that's probably what he's weighing, because when he got on that plane to go out there, he knew what that was going to look like, and it's a lot of money, and it's the Lakers brand, and it's LeBron, at least for a couple of years, and it's Beverly Hills, and it's everything else. He knew that going into it. So I think, what's the hesitation? Why would he be taking time over the weekend to think about it? I think he's thinking about exactly what I just said, the fulfillment factor for him as a head coach in developing young players. I think that's where he loves.
The one thing he can't do is change the realities of collegiate sports as we know them, particularly in a conference that doesn't have big-time football. That, unfortunately, might be the biggest factor in all of this. I'd love to